Let's go ahead and do a survivor one. So with Arthur, this was his level 25 build, and it's pretty solid. The only thing is it's not that helpful to your teammates because his aura is so small. And my logic for this build, part of it is Arthur as a character, maybe he's not the best leader in the world based on the movie. That's my justification for having a greedy, selfish aura. But luckily with Prestige, I can start bringing that up now, so that's good. As for Army of Darkness Ash, this was my level 25 build right here. And the thing with this build, I have points into light attack, so it's mostly geared towards dealing with all the ads. So if you're up against, say, an Army of Darkness build, you're going to be able to clear those ads like really fast. You just get a sword and hit those light attacks. That's all you need with this build, really. And you don't even need to use your heavy. That's what the build is for. It's so that I never even have to use. I can just spam one button the entire time and I'm good. This build is so powerful and it works so well for me and the way I play this character that I don't really need the prestige points. So the extra 5 prestiging, like I'm prestiging him anyway, because he's one of my favorite, like he's my main warrior. But I don't necessarily need them, right? He's kind of fine the way it is, to be honest. But since I am going to have 5 extra points, I'm probably going to like go up this tree a bit or spend some points down here. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really do anything. Maybe I might put points into shield. I don't even know. I don't rely on shield too much though. So yeah, that's my ultimate AOD level 25 build because it is the best build for me and what I do with the character. This is something I recommend to all players who are new and they're at that point where they gotta think of who to prestige. I recommend you pick one character from each class to main and focus on those characters first. That way you'll always have a prestiged character in each class, which is going to be good for team compositions, I feel like. Yeah, so this was my ultimate level 25 build with him. The more damage you do, the more passive healing you're going to do with the heavy attacks, so it actually works. If I'm using a big weapon like an axe, I'm going to be doing more passive healing with my heavy attack. It's important to upgrade your melee, unless of course you suck with heavy attacks. He's not the easiest character to use. Like Cheryl or the Blacksmith are probably the easiest healers to use. But he's more engaging, he's more challenging. Like if you want more of a challenge, you're gonna want to play him over the other healers. I feel like there's more going on with him. If you get a legendary sword or some really good melee weapon and your teammates actually let you have it, you're gonna do a lot more passive healing, right? So there's matches where I've won completely off passive heals and I didn't have to use any shims because my teammate understood and let me have that weapon. But yeah, this is what I was rocking before the prestige hit. It works fine for me. Once again, I would say this character is not an easy character to be good with all the time consistently, so if you like him as a character, I'd say play him and get used to it. There might be a little bit more of a learning curve than say if you were to just pick Cheryl. Alright, so this is my leader Ash level 25 builds. He's a little more generous, more of a leader with his aura being bigger. I do like the tankiness on this guy, like the idea of him getting beat up a bunch. But yeah, this is my level 25 build for him. This is my excellent Henry build. He's one of the only guys I invested a little bit into shield. I wanted the length of the bar he started with to be a bit longer, that's why I put those in there. But for the most part, what I upgrade first to him, his health and his ability are the most important. His health, ability, and this damage, his toughness, and this row here, this entire row, because I usually use blunt weapons on him, so it's all balance bar and heavy attacks. This is just catered towards him. I just run around smashing stuff with heavy attacks. He's meant for, you know, if a boss pops up, he just gets in their face and smashes them with heavies, and that's pretty much his thing. Like that's how I play him. I feel with his ability, he already has enough defensive capability just with that active, so the rest of the time I just want to be hammering, like evaporating stuff with my heavy attacks and just doing major damage. So if it's a boss, the bounce bar is going to really help a lot with the bosses to stun them. I don't really know what I'll do with him when I prestige him because like with Army of Darkness Ash, I feel like he's where he needs to be and he doesn't necessarily need the extra points. So the extra points are just going to bring him to like some other level. So yeah, that's my Henry build. And then my Scotty build, I don't have any points into his ability because I don't like it. Alright, so he's a little bit different. He's like Henry, he has all the points into his heavy attacks and his dismemberment. Because like Henry, I use heavy attacks a lot on him. Sometimes I end up with blunt weapons, which is fine. But I also like the lumberjack axe because that's like his weapon. I put points into dismemberment damage, max that out because of the axe, and of course dismemberment damage of melee weapons and sharp weapons together. So even blunt weapons will do dismemberment. With this one, it only works for sharp weapons, obviously. So if you have both of them, the axe is going to be even crazier. So yeah, him too. He's kind of like a mix between Ash and Henry, where my Ash build, the way I play him is to clear all the ads and like deal with an army of darkness, whereas the Henry build is mostly a lot of his role, the way I play him is to like deal with bosses and possessed units. Now Scotty on the other hand, he's like kind of a mixture of both, so he's kind of like the in-between character of those two builds, if that makes any sense, at least for me. That's how I built these characters, so that they all kind of serve a purpose. My Mia is level 6, so I can't even talk about Mia. Ed, I don't play Ed too often, but... Alright, so Ed, I just want to point out a couple important things for Ed. Last chance is so important for him because his weapon of choice, his range weapon is the crossbow. He shoots faster with a crossbow than any other character, so he's really good with the crossbow. On him, I always go for the crossbow because he's just way better with it. So you have last chance and increase the damage for the last bullet of a gun, so that's every shot of the crossbow is going to have increased damage with that. So it's very important to have this and this upgraded ranged weapon damage. Okay, with her, I have obviously the damage. Looks like I got a little bit points into health. Yeah, her build's a little all over the place. Look, I have my melee weapon maxed, so she's gonna do extra damage in melee. And the reason for this is because on hunters, sometimes you get screwed over. People take all the ammo and they don't share it because they happen to loot all the houses before you went through them. And you can really get screwed over as a hunter that way. Instead of the other hunter, she's kind of good at melee and range, so if that does happen, I don't have to stress about it and get all like, it doesn't feel like a big waste of time. I'm still going to be racking up points using my melee damage, so I don't need to rely on her gun as much as with the other hunters. That's why I still kind of believe that if you build her this way, she's kind of really easygoing character and an easy character to play as a beginner. She might not do the best damage output with this build, but you're going to stand a better chance at surviving and making it to the end and winning a match if you're just, overall doing better. And yeah, it's gonna be harder to screw her over basically when you have crap teammates. She's good for solo queues. Okay, so my Amanda build is it's mostly geared towards her pistol. You want to upgrade her ability, so you're going to want to use the ability as much as you can because it gives you infinite ammo while it's active. So if you're struggling with ammo, it's not going to be a problem if you have this ability because then you'll have like magic ammo in your shooting. You have ammo anytime you use that basically. And everything else is just kind of like increase her survivability. The main thing when you're playing her, no matter what your build is, even if you have all the investments into fear, helping with fear, if you're gonna run around with a pistol, your main thing with her is to make sure you never get possessed. That goes generally with all the hunters. The fear management is the most important thing on hunters other than having ammo, because the demon can just possess you once and waste half your ammo just because he just shoots it, which I think is stupid. Yeah, that's just something you have to deal with as a hunter. Her, with using the pistol, you can really stun lock people pretty bad with pistols, so you have to be extra careful on her. And yeah, I've already done a video on Cheryl, but just to show you the level 25 build I have for her, it's mostly geared towards just healing. I try not to even melee people on her. I just try to run away and let people deal with it. Like when I'm playing her, I'm always near a teammate. That's how I play her. Like she's not offensive in any way for me. And then Pablo, he's kind of like a stealth. I just kind of run around, get objectives and stuff as him. I have some points into his shield because, that's his ability is to spawn amulets. So he's one of my only characters. I've upgraded his shields and amulets just because that's based on his ability. Everything else here is just based on helping him survive and be a decent healer. So that's pretty much it. My David build, this is it. I put points into his gun damage because he has a weapon proficiency with a ranged weapon, the nail gun, so that's why I spent points into this. When I'm using that nail gun, it does a little extra damage. It's gonna help. And everything else is pretty much for his being a healer, right? And toughness, obviously, that helps. Survivability is important as a healer, so this is my blacksmith build. He's kind of slow, he likes the big weapons, he's tanky, so he can afford to take his time shooting at you, and he can really take a hit, so. But like I said earlier, for now, I'm just focusing on my 4 main characters of each class. If I get one of these guys to Prestige 5, then I'll start, and I'll be able to start working on other ones, I guess. And if Chet comes in any of these classes, I'm probably going to replace a character with Chet. Say he becomes a leader with a drunken aura, which is what I really want him to be. I'm going to totally stop playing Arthur to Prestige him, but I'm hoping he's not a healer. Thank you for watching.
What do?